So there is a pretty old Easter egg within the map Classified that I'd never noticed before. The reason I know this is old because I searched it on Google and found it had been spoken about a couple of times by a few different people, but since I've been doing zombies videos since Black Ops 1, I thought it was a little bit weird that I'd never really not seen this before, because I probably have, but taken any notice of it. So you might want to ask in the comments, well, Eli, if it's an old Easter egg, why are you talking about it in this video? And that's because Treyarch brought this Easter egg back. It was originally in Black Ops 1 and 5, and it can also be found in Kino der Toten, and then on BO4 it can be found in Classified. Treyarch remade this Easter egg, or note, whatever you want to call it, which is a telltale sign that Treyarch wanted us to see this again. As I just mentioned, it was spoken about a little bit in BO1, but from what I've seen, not by any YouTubers, people on Twitter or anything else. It's just a couple of Reddit posts with a few comments that have mentioned this. And so I thought, well, this is weird because this isn't the first time Treyarch have done this. There have been other Easter eggs, notes, letters, things in Zombies that Treyarch have brought back for remasters. We have all of these Zombies Chronicles maps, which are remasters of a lot of World at War maps and BO1 maps. A lot of what we see in these Zombies Chronicles maps include most of what we had in the originals. That would make sense because they are remasters or remakes, whatever you want to call them. But in this instance, this is one of the rarer cases where we can say, yep, Treyarch definitely wanted us to see this again. Enough people must not have seen it the first time around, so Treyarch have added it in again. They must have wanted us to see it, so there must be a little bit of importance behind it, because even though Classified in BO4 is a sort of remaster of 5 from Black Ops 1, in a similar way that Alpha Omega is like Nuketown, but it really isn't. There are quite a few differences, story-wise, Easter egg-wise, and layout, gameplay. But in Classified, in one of the areas where the zombies spawn in, so you can only really see this up close if you go into theatre mode, and you kind of glitch out of the map, but not really. You go over the wall, and you see this note on the wall, but you will notice you can't quite read what it says because it's mirrored. Everything is backwards. You can, and I did, try to make out what it said. Reading it backwards, it's not easy. But if you flip it, this is what you get. It is a sheet of paper titled Industry Global Communication Service. There is a heading at the top which says, "We have listed both Tabun and Sarin. Be wary of the Doctor. His involvement should be minimised. If you want to make it out alive, we are aware on how he arrived at this place and time." We then see a bunch of other stuff, the chemical compound for both Tabun and Sarin. It's dated the 23rd of January 1975. It's originated and released by IHCOMESOO, and it's 2FSFR. This note could also be found in Black Ops 1 on both Kino der Toten and 5. This was it back then. It was a lot harder to read, which maybe is one of the reasons why it wasn't really picked up, or why no one really took notice of it, because without the remastered version of this on BO4, there are some words that I really can't make out. Right here especially, does it say we are unaware on how he arrived at this time and place? Whereas on the new note it says we are aware, or maybe it does say the same thing, I can't quite tell. Also where it says where or who it's from, IHCOMFSQG, it kind of looks like it says on the old note, whereas on the new one it's OO, but once again, maybe it says the same thing. It's really difficult to tell on this one because of the older graphics on the older consoles when this would have come out. Who it's to is also kind of blurred out, there are ink blocks on it. It looks like it says 2FSER in a way, that also could be FR. But the most important thing for me is the fact that Treyarch not only brought this back from BO1 to BO4, but the fact that on the new one there are no ink blots. It's a lot easier to read. They've clearly remastered it. They remade it for BO4, means they wanted us to see this. This wasn't a simple copy and paste job. This wasn't them saying, you know what, we need to add some decorations to the map. Let's just quickly reuse some assets because it won't take any time. They've remade this again. But what I'm interested in is, what exactly does this mean then? The relevance this note would have had back during the story in 2010 might very well be different to what it has when it was on BO4, but if Treyarch brought it back, that must mean there's still relevance. The message, we have listed both Tabun and Sarin. We are wary of the Doctor. His involvement should be minimised. If you want to make it out alive, we are aware on how he arrived at this time and place. Tabun and Sarin, if you don't know, are nerve agents. In Call of Duty in the Black Ops series, we have a very well-known chemical agent being Nova 6 gas, which also has a big part in our zombie storyline, especially during the map 5 and Classified. Nova gas was integrated into the crawlers, the Nova 6 crawlers, which we actually saw on both maps Kino and 5. It then says be wary of the Doctor. I would guess it's talking about Richtofen. The next question is, well, who is this message from then? Because it goes on to say his involvement should be minimised. If you want to make it out alive, we are aware of how he arrived at this time and place. Richtofen during the older storyline did a lot of time travelling through both space and time, but who exactly is we? Maybe I'm just being stupid here or I can't remember something, but it says it's from IHCOMFSOO or OG. Who or what is that? What does that mean? I really don't know. And then it says it's 2FSFR or ER. Back when this was first seen, I did see someone say that FSER could be Faithful Servant Edward Richtofen. However, I tried to find more notes where that was confirmed, but I couldn't. And also, it wouldn't make sense to be addressed to Richtofen if it was talking about him in terms of being wary of the Doctor, unless the Doctor was someone else such as Maxis, but it makes more sense to have been Richtofen. The map, 5 and Classified and Kino, and especially our older zombie story, included a lot of stuff revolving around the Illuminati. I mean, just look at the screens on 5. There's the Illuminati symbol all over the Pentagon Thief's clothing and bag, all on the walls. There are Illuminati messages everywhere. There was tons of this stuff back in World at War and BO1, and you can actually break down what a lot of it means. We have this Illuminati code which translates to living dead. There are other Illuminati quotes which translate to good, the service to the Illuminati can continue. Nikolai, the Illuminati will be pleased with you. I have been recognized by Trey, the Illuminati. The big question I would like to ask is, why would Treyarch bring something like this back? If it was a simple copy and paste, I wouldn't bat an eyelid, but to remake it again, change things, unless they really couldn't come up with any other ideas, it must have had at least a little bit of importance, even though the message itself, I don't think, imagine it's 2010, Kino or 5, and we're just reading this for the first time, even then when it might have been more relevant. I don't think it's a super important message, but the fact that we don't know who this note is from, is it the Illuminati, is it Maxis? Is it the Americans? But why would it be in Kino if it was them? We know they did take work from Group 935 when Darius was abandoned. But who wrote this? Where did he arrive? Kino? Shangri-La? Moon? As we heard from radios in Classified, Richtofen did meet up with the Americans and then went missing shortly after. We know where he went to, but they didn't. Could it have something to do with them? Because this is what he said.
October 10th, 19...
You've done what, Dr. Richtofen?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you not see the microphone in my hand? Recording for posterity is important. Ahem. October 10th, 1945.
You've made a deal with the Americans?
And the Russians. You can't forget them.
But our work, this war...
The war is over, Dr. Schuster. It is my responsibility to ensure the work of Group 935 continues.
But these deals... It would mean the end of Group 935. The Americans and the Russians would tear us apart. Everything we stood for...
Everything this organization stood for died the day Dr. Maxis made that infernal deal with the Reichstag. You and I both know this to be true. Listen to me and understand. Our technological developments with 115 are the envy of the entire world. These agreements guarantee our work will continue in America and Russia, and that they will continue with our scientists at the helm. I am sorry, but for our work to live on, Group 935 must come to an end. Oh, cheer up, Dr. Schuster. I have asked that you go to the Americans. It will be good for your softer side.
You will not go to America?
Nor to Russia. Once Dr. Groff confirms that the MPD is ready, we will proceed with Operation SHIELD as planned. And then, I have a date with destiny.
What are you getting out of this deal, Dr. Richtofen?
A feeling of fulfillment that I've saved my fellow scientists from the unemployment line and possibly prison.
Edward, please.
Don't you worry about me, Dr. Schuster. I will be well taken care of.
Yeah, I just thought this was super interesting. The fact that you can't really see many videos about it or there aren't too many people talking about it maybe does say something. Maybe it's not that important, but for Treyarch to bring it back, perhaps we were wrong. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But as always, hopefully you've enjoyed the video today. If you have, drop a like rating and make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.